Hello, hope you're doing great. This is Maria Panni Rajan, your friendly software engineer. And in this video, we're going to see how we can make the Python interpreter find the custom packages and modules that we have created and put in different locations. Alright. So without further ado, let's get started. So to illustrate this, we are starting out from scratch. Alright. So we can see that we are inside this empty folder called code. And in this folder, we're just going to create two subfolders. One folder called, projects, which is basically going to contain all the projects, right? And then we're going to create another folder called some other folder. All right. So, basically this some other folder, is the folder which is existing somewhere in the disk. All right. So, it could be in another drive, it could be in a different, it could be even from a server, it could be anywhere in your disk. Okay. So, and this projects folder is the folder that's going to contain all the projects. All right. So, and we are going to put the libraries that we're going to create, the custom libraries that we're creating inside this some other folder. Okay. So, and we're going to make the the Python file inside our project to be able to recognize the libraries, the packages and modules that are present inside of the some other folder. Let's just go into the projects folder, and there we'll create you know project 1, and we'll create another folder called project 2. And in this example, project 2 is just going to be an empty folder. We're just using it for namesake. Okay, the project 1 is where our project is going to be. All right, this is where the main.py file is going to exist. So let's open our VS code from the root level itself, from the root directory itself, so that we can see all this folder structures inside of VS code as well. So let me just open, we are in the root folder, and we'll just open our VS code. Cool. Now our VS code is open, and as expected, we can see the some other folders there, which is just some other folder in your disk. And you have your projects folder under which we have project 1, and inside this project 1 is where we're going to create our main.py file. Okay, so in the main.py file, what we'll do is we'll just create a main definition, and it's just going to print main says hello. And we know that if we have a module or a package in this same project directory, it's going to work. Okay, the Python interpreter is going to be able to find out. As a matter of fact, we can just quickly prove that as well, right? So we can just let's just create a module in the same directory called module _1.py, and in this module we'll just have a definition called say hello, right? And this is just going to print module 1 says hello, right? And if we go inside the main.py file, and if we just import module 1, we can easily say module 1.say hello, right? And if we now again execute our Python code, we can see that yes, as expected, main says hello, and then module 1 also says hello, right? Perfect. Now, as a matter of fact, this even applies for a package as well, right? So if you have like a package inside of this project folder, like if you just create another folder called package _1, okay, and we just move this module 1 inside this package folder, right? If you just move this, now you can see that this package 1 folder in turn contains this module 1, right? Now this is still like the Python interpreter can still find this package 1, okay, this module 1 which is specified as package 1. We can just say package _1 dot module _1, right? And if we just use that as the namespace, you can see that yeah, this is still working. Okay, you can still the main says hello, and then module 1 says hello, and module 1 is present inside of the the package, right? It's still able to the Python interpreter is still able to recognize and use it in our program. Perfect. Like this is something that we already know, right? This is something that we know because because we already discussed that this project folder is also listed automatically. The project folder, in this case this project 1 folder, is listed along with the all the directories that the Python interpreter looks into. And how do we know what are all the directories that the Python interpreter looks into? You just use the sys command, the sys module to let you know that. I mean, like, so we can just say for path in sys.path, let's just print it out and see, print path, right? So I'll just comment the other print statements for now, and we can we can just see what are all the different directories that the Python interpreter is looking into to show us to look for to find out, like the packages and modules. So we can see that, these are the different, directories that the Python interpreter is looking into for, packages and modules. And we can see that the first directory that is listed in the sys.path list is basically the project directory. And in this case, this is project_1, right? This is basically this particular, directory, right? So that is the reason the package and the module that was present inside your project directory was automatically picked up. But the thing is, in a real world scenario, like you won't have all the packages and modules, present inside of your project directory, right? Because it's going to get bloated really soon if you're, trying to cram all the modules and all the packages that, you're going to use in your project, inside your project folder. So for organization's sake and for, keeping your sanity, you definitely want to, like organize your packages and libraries, like in, in different locations, so that you can reuse it across different projects. All right, so basically right now, let's just like say that this is the project folder. Okay, so project 1. Okay, and if we keep on cramming, more and more modules and, packages into this single folder, very soon what's going to happen is this particular folder is going to get bloated. Like it's going to get bloated with, lot of unnecessary, redundant code. What do I mean by that is, like in any project, you're going to be using a lot of these utility modules, like, so for example, one of such module could be, like maybe a math module that you have created. Okay, this could be very easily, used in another project as well, right? And, maybe you have something called a logging package, or maybe, you created something like an email, like a package, right? So these packages and modules, like that you have created, if you just gonna, like take all of these things and, put them inside this single directory, what's going to happen is you're just, like dumping unnecessary code, because like this math module and logging system and email doesn't necessarily have to do with this specific project, right? These are just utility packages and, modules. And, like basically these could be used across multiple projects, right? Like if you, let's say you have another project which is basically, project 2, like what are we going to do now? I mean, like, are we going to again, copy all of this and, from here, copy it again here, into this project, so that, if here also we have math and, like log and email, this is just, unnecessary copy pasting, right? Like you're just copying and pasting code into all these multiple projects, right? And now you're using code, redundancy, code duplication. So same math module which is present in this project, you've just copied and pasted it to the second project. And, let's say you have another project, third project 3, you're going to just copy stuff from here and, put it in the project 3. So, this just, it's just a developer's nightmare, like, because this is just, unnecessary. You're just increasing your code maintenance work, right? Because, like, let's say tomorrow you want to upgrade your math module, you want to, introduce some new changes, or you want to modify, some certain formulas or whatever, right? What we would have to do is you need to go into every project that makes use of this math module and, update it, like that's unnecessary and, like totally unwarranted for, right? So what we could do instead, right, like instead of this, the better way would be, like to have a, a separate folder called maybe library somewhere in your disk, like some, a commonly accessible place, maybe in a server, or, like in a separate drive, or wherever, like and inside this library folder, which exists in a safe location, you can, create your math, and log and email and whatever, like all your custom packages and libraries that, you're creating, right? You just have them in this library folder somewhere in your disk. Okay, so this is the better system. Okay, so, like, and then, like when a project requires, a said module, all you need to do is, like let's say project 1 requires it, right? So, like in this, you can just import, like let's say you just need to import math, right? And automatically, like this project is now importing, right, the math module from this central location, right? So you're not duplicating the code, you're just, like importing whatever is necessary into your project, right? So, and similarly, like project 2, can again, like import maybe math, and it can also import, like logging as well, like, so it again, these things are now, importing them from a central location. So this is the biggest advantage. Now, and now since you have all these things, separated into different folders, if you just want to update and modify the math module, you can easily do that. You can just like go here to this library folder and you can update and modify the math module, and that's it, right? Like any other project is making use of this math module is automatically now going to get the upgrade, right? Is there because there's no code duplication. The code exists only in a single place. So this is the biggest advantage of putting your packages and modules in like in separate folders. Okay, in a separate folder and maintaining them there, right? Cool. So coming back to our example, like over here, so we don't want this package to be present in this projects folder. We want this package to be present inside this some other folder. Okay, so some other folder which is called like some of the library folder. Okay, somewhere it exists in our disk. So if we move this package one like to this some other folder, if I just move it, now you can see that under some other folder we have this package one, like which in turn contains module one. If you just quickly check out the file system as well, you can see under some other folder we now have the package one, which in turn contains the like the module one.py, right? So we have we can even remove this cache. So basically like we have we have the module one inside the package one, which in turn is inside the some other folder in the directory, right? So now like since the package one is no longer present inside the project folder, it is present inside some other folder. We can't the Python interpreter won't be able to access module one anymore. As a matter of fact, if you just like run this code now, it's clearly going to throw us an error saying the module is not found. See, like there's an module not found error, right? Because package one, can't be, like found, because the Python interpreter doesn't know, like where to look for this package one package. And we know that, the sys.path is the list which maintains all the list of directories which Python interpreter looks into, for finding these packages and modules. So there are two ways in which, like we can get this some other folder to be listed along with the directories in this sys.path list. So the first way would be like we can just, since this is a list, what we can do is we can just we can maybe let's just move this over here to the top before we import the package one, and we can just say sys.path.append, because it's just a list, right? And we can just very well copy this some other folders path, and let's just paste it over here, right? So now since this some other folder path, you can see, I'll just make it smaller and for you guys to see. So you can see that we just added that path, like the some other folder path, appended it to this sys.path list. Okay, and since you have done this now, like and you just need to make sure that we are escaping the backslash, because backslash is a special character. So we'll just like quickly backslash it, add a another backslash to escape it. So now it's perfectly fine. So like now if we just you know I won't, let's not import anything for now. I'll just comment out that line, and like I'll just even put a pass over here in the main definition. And like we're just going to add this to the sys.path, and we're going to like print it out and print out sys.path and see if like this some other folder is also listed along with the other directories in the sys.path. So let's just quickly run this code and see what happens now. Okay, so let me just make this bigger, and you can see that like as expected, this project one, yes, like this, that's a project directory, it is listed in the sys.path. And also you can see that like this particular some other folder is also added to the list. It's at the end of the list, but still it's added to the list. And because this some other folder is now present in the sys.path list, like if we just come here and let me just comment this loop for now, and let's just, we can now import package one dot module, and we can run all these commands, right? So we can just print the say hello. We can execute say hello from the module one, which is present inside package one, which in turn is present inside the some other folder directory, some other folder directory, right? So if you just now run the code once again, you can see that yes, it's working, right? It says main says hello, right? And it also says module one says hello, and we know that the module one is present in some other folder, right? This is perfect. I mean, like, so this is one way of getting the folder of our choice, like the place where we have put our custom packages and modules into, to be like searchable by our Python interpreter, right? So this is definitely one way we can which we can do it, and it clearly works. But the thing is, there's a big red flag to this, like, because here you can see that what we are doing is we are, hard coding the path, hard coding the some other folder, directory path. And that again is a big no-no, right? So if you don't have any other choice, you can definitely, directly append, you can directly add, the folder of your choice into the sys.path list. But like, I would keep this as a second choice, because there is a better way to do this. The second way, which is basically adding this particular, folder path, folder location, like into your environment variable. Okay. So there's this environment variable called Python path. Okay. So if we have, like, this particular location, this folder location in Python path, if you have that directory location in Python path environment variable, that also, gets automatically picked up by the sys.path list. Okay. So, like, let's just do that now, like, and the way we, like, add an environment variable in Windows is, we can just go click on the start button and just say environment, and here, like, click on this, widget, which is basically system properties, and here click on environment variables. And under system variables, we need to create a new environment variable called Python path. Okay, all in caps. Okay. And there, the value for this Python path environment variable would be the path, that you want to add. Basically, like, right now for us, the path is this some other folder, path, right? So you just copy this path, and I'll just, like, open this environment variable, and I'll just open this widget, and here we're just adding the some other folder path to be the value for this Python path environment variable. And since we have done this, right, like, now I'll just press say okay, and like, if we just go back to our VS code, we don't need this append statement anymore, so we just comment it out. And now, since we have, added this particular some folder path location to the Python path environment variable, we just need to quickly restart our VS code. Okay, if you are using the terminal, also just restart your terminal, so that it picks up the value from the environment variable. So I'm just, like, restarting VS code from this root folder directory. And now, since we have restarted the VS code, like, let's just you know print out sys.path and see if that particular path is also now included, in the sys.path list, right? So let's just run our Python code and see what's going on. So we just need to go and say project one, and there we'll just say Python main, right? And let's just see, if our some other folder is listed. And like, as expected, see, like, first is the first folder that is listed is the project folder, project one, and then the second folder itself that is listed is the some other folder, right? Which is basically the the some other folder which we are where we are putting our packages and libraries, packages and modules into. So like, because now uh, this some other folder is listed, like, in the sys.path list, we can just even comment this out for now, and directly start importing, like, the module one from package one, because it is now accessible by our Python interpreter. And we can also like, do our print statements, right? So we'll just, like, quickly uncomment them, and like, run the code and see if that's the case. And yes, right? So like, main says hello, and module one also says hello. And module one, we know that is present in the some other folder, package one. So this is basically how like, we can make the Python interpreter find the packages and modules that are present in any location that we choose. All right. So I hope this video was useful, and I will see you again in the next video. Cheers.